Alexsandr Rubel was a disturbed kid from an early age. As by 14 years old, his addiction to sniffing gasoline vapors caused him to develop homicidal urges. He was huffing up to 5 liters a day by the time he was 16, as his desire to kill grew stronger and stronger. In September 1997, Alexander couldn't contain his compulsions anymore, as the teenager hacked his disabled neighbor to death with an axe. By the time he was caught, he had killed 7 people in 9 months, even decapitating one of his victims. But since he was a teenager, he was only sentenced to 8 years in prison. As of today, this mass murderer is free and possibly living in Estonia under a different name. Welcome to History's Biggest Villain. Alexander was born on Christmas Day 1980 in Ukraine. As a child, his family emigrated to Estonia, where his father worked as a truck driver in a new world after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Very little information is known about his childhood, but one could surmise that he was dealing with a lot early on. As at age 14, he started sniffing gasoline vapors to get high. According to many health experts, chronic inhalation of gasoline exposes users to multiple carcinogens, also increasing risk for brain damage and iron deficiency. By the time he was 16, Alex was a full-fledged addict, huffing up to 5 liters of gasoline a day. He later described that while intoxicated from the noxious fumes, he felt his strength increase as well as his homicidal ideations. "I sniffed gasoline and suddenly the desire to kill someone arose," he later said. "I wanted to kill someone. I wanted to try what killing is like. I wanted to see blood." On September 19, 1997, a 16-year-old Alex inhaled vapors from his father's tractor trailer at home. Then he grabbed an axe. He then walked up the stairs of his apartment building to his neighbor Tonu Pold, who was paralyzed and confined to a wheelchair. He later said that he chose Tonu as a victim because he knew that his disability would make him an easy target. Alex then raised the axe, striking Tonu in the head repeatedly, then covering his head with a blanket to contain the blood. Following this senseless murder, Alex was feeling satisfied after exploring his curiosity for killing and seeing blood. On November 7th, 34-year-old Alexei Pavlov was visiting the Rubel family, but earlier in the day, Alex's father Andrei believed he was courting his wife, so he stabbed him 4 times in the stomach. Alexei survived this attack, but he refused medical help as Alex's mom bandaged his wounds. After he huffed gasoline, Alex lured Alexei to an empty room before stabbing him multiple times. While he was on the ground, he was choked with an electric cord, which broke, so a thicker one had to be used. Alexei was finally beaten until his ribs were broken. The father and son got rid of his body by tossing it from a 3-story window. After getting away with 2 murders so far, Alex left his apartment and roamed around looking for victims. He then stumbled upon 50-year-old Yevgeny Celeste on January 2nd, 1998. Alex stabbed him multiple times in the neck and chest, leaving his partially undressed body in the snow. On February 2nd, he encountered 43-year-old Vladimir Ivanov on Kavory Street. He asked the man for a cigarette and money for gas before striking him repeatedly with an axe that he now carried with him. Vladimir was hit so many times that his head was severed, as his body was discovered on a snowbank the next day. A week later, Alex was back at his building. He knocked on the door of his 54-year-old neighbor, Olga Vorenkova, who lived alone. He came under the pretense of borrowing items, but Olga's decomposing body was found several days later, as her throat was slit and she bore several defensive wounds. The next murder showed an increase in calculation, as on May 31st, Alex asked his friend Artur to dig a grave in the Paljasari neighborhood. He then kidnapped 15-year-old Alice Sivas, taking her to that secluded spot, and stabbing her multiple times before slitting her throat and burying her body. The police had been investigating these murders for a while, but they were all being treated as isolated incidents due to their opportunistic nature and lack of pattern. The only possible links between the victims was their vulnerability, but a lack of forensic evidence or witness testimony made the investigation difficult. But on June 7th, 1998, Artur was feeling extremely guilty and he came forward, implicating Alex in the murder of Alice Sivas, saying that he watched him lure the little girl to the secluded spot and kill her. The police also noted how close Alex lived to a lot of the crime scenes, so he was brought in for questioning. Not only did he admit to killing Alice, he admitted to the 5 other murders he committed, as he consistently said that huffing gasoline vapors gave him the urge to kill. Alex was linked to a possible 7th murder, as it's highly likely that he killed Vladimir Kinzersky at his house between February 28th and March 1st, 1998. But in the end, he was charged with 6 murders, while his dad was also charged as an accessory to the murder of Alexei Pavlov and sentenced to 7 years in prison. Since Alex was a teenager when he committed these crimes, he was prosecuted as a minor, and under Estonian juvenile law, the maximum sentence is 8 years in prison. Alex was sentenced in 1999, and he was released in 2006. And since he completed his full sentence, he was discharged without any supervision, probation, or restrictions, also avoiding deportation. The prison returned his personal belongings, provided clothing, and a modest release stipend equivalent to at least 1 month's unemployment benefit. They also offered guidance on social welfare options to local authorities. He returned back to his childhood home, the same place where many of his crimes occurred, possibly under a different name, but as of now, it's been 20 years and no other incidents have been reported. I just don't understand the justice systems in some of these countries. Who cares if he killed 7 people, but because he's 17, we can only give him 8 years? Like, that's ridiculous. Me personally, I've never huffed gasoline, but I don't know if huffing gasoline gives you murderous tendencies. I feel like you were just a drug addict and you just wanted to kill people. All it really was. But thank you guys. I really appreciate y'all for the support. Leave a like if you enjoyed. That subscribe if you're new to my channel. Turn my post notification on if you haven't already. Thank you. Please be safe. Stand the grind. I'm out. Peace.